Hello and welcome everyone to another video about neuroradiology. Today we're going to talk about contusions. So let's get started. Where the contusions usually are located? They're usually located in the cortex of the frontal lobe. This is the first thing. Or the temporal lobe, the cortex of the temporal lobe. Or the dorsal lateral midbrain. So these are the three most common places. But why? Why these places in particular? That's very simple. The answer to this question is very simple, and that is that these areas are the most exposed areas to external forces. I mean, when you get hit by an object, these areas will be affected because these are more exposed. So when you fall down on the ground, your frontal lobe will be affected, or your temporal lobe will be affected. Fairly just because where they are located. Okay. Anyway, so what is the cause of the contusions? This is direct impact of the brain with the overlying skull. So basically, not the hit itself causing for you the contusion, but what the skull does to your brain. This is what actually causes the contusion for you. So first, you will get hit by an object, and this will affect your skull, number one. And then, after that, that skull will have an impact on your brain, and that basically causes the contusion. All right, let's continue and let's go to what's interests us most. The CT findings. Multiple hyperdense focal rounded lesions, okay, surrounded by low attenuation edema in characteristic locations. So first is multiple hyperdense focal rounded lesions. This is the first thing, okay. And these are surrounded by low attenuation edema in characteristic lesions. This is the second thing. We're going to talk about that when we will go and talk about these pictures down below. The second point is intraventricular hemorrhage is seen in 1 to 5% of patients with contusions. Only 1 to 5% of patients with contusions will get intraventricular hemorrhages. Okay, so after we talked about that, let's go and take a look at the picture below. So on the picture on the right side first, this one, we can see in these two arrows, the two white arrows, we can see two small white dots, and these are basically what was mentioned here was mentioned right here as multiple hyperdense focal rounded lesions. Multiple hyperdense focal rounded lesions right here. Okay, so this is the first thing. The picture on the left side, though, it shows us something rather different, and this is the second point, which is low attenuation edema and characteristic lesions. So when you have these white spots, you should also take a look around it. Don't look to the white lesions and say, you know what, well, okay, yeah, these small white lesions, then okay, this is contusion. No, the second important key is that you must find low attenuation edema. Low attenuation, what does it mean? Well, they're gonna look like, the edema will look like a little bit more black than the tissue surrounding it, the brain tissue. So for example, if you take a look right here in this picture, right here, I'm gonna show you right now. Okay, if you take a look right here, this black area, this area shows us that we have low attenuation edema. This is black. This is black if you compare it to the rest of the brain tissue. Now, in this picture, well, it's actually not really visible clearly, but I'm sure if you're gonna Google that, you're gonna find some really good pictures, and in the future I'm gonna actually show that to you on my YouTube channel. So yeah, you will find that the low attenuation edema will look more black than the brain tissue. Well, the brain tissue is not white and it's not black at the same time. It's basically gray, and when it's a little bit more black than the brain tissue, then this is what's called low attenuation, and this is an indication for edema, which surrounds these hyperdense focal areas or focal lesions. All right. So yeah, so let's read that below. So we have these contusions: focal punctate area of high density, which is shown by the white arrow in the bilateral inferior frontal lobe and the left temporal lobe, with surrounding low attenuation changes. Findings are consistent with multiple contusions with surrounding edema. So yeah, this is everything being explained. So yeah, I hope that you actually liked this video, and if you did, please smash the like button, and if you would like to see more, please subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you will get notified about the new videos that I'm gonna upload later in the future. So yeah, that's it, and thanks for watching, and goodbye.